Have you ever encountered someone who appears to be deeply religious but exhibits narcissistic traits? Maybe you're curious about the concept of a Christian narcissist, how it affects those around them. Now, when I'm going to refer to inside this video, whenever I talk to a Christian narcissist, I'm going to talk to someone who is showing up in a religious or a Christian way, like in words or deeds or how they're actually being portrayed. And then when I use the word narcissist in this context, we're talking about the abuser. We're talking about someone who is abusing, belittling, putting down, hurting, controlling, manipulating, all those different pieces. Because there's a little bit of a piece here that I want to clarify inside this video before we get started. Being a Christian and then also being a narcissist, what does this look like different in my life? How does it show up different now? Because I used to keep this facade of I'm this perfect person. I'm this great person. I look good. I'm religious. I'm connected to God. All these different things is what I would portray. What was happening underneath the surface, what was happening in the relationship was just abuse. Being a person who was abusive, manipulative, controlling, all these type of things. And so there really was this big incongruence between what I was saying and what I was doing, how I was showing up and how I was portraying to other people. And so I want to clarify some of this and also explain that this is the frame that I'm coming from. Is I grew up in religion. I grew up as a Christian. I grew up in all these different cultures that was very focused in Christianity, but also a lot of cultures that also brought in these toxic traits as normal. And so we're going to dive into that. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness about narcissistic abuse. I'm the founder of Raw Motivations, the creator of the Narc app, and your guide in the 45-day Clarity Challenge that you can access at claritychallenge.net. And go there today to start looking at and seeing different people that have gone through the challenge. There's multiple testimonials, multiple videos there that people have sent in saying, please tell other people how it's transformed our lives, how it's actually helped. I want you to be able to understand that, so go to claritychallenge.net. When we talk through this aspect of understanding a Christian narcissist, like a Christian narcissist, just to define, is typically an individual who claims to follow the principles of Christianity. That claims to follow these principles to have them be nice, to have them be loving, to have them be caring, yet at the same time displays abusive tendencies and behaviors. Like they might use religious beliefs and practices to mask otherwise manipulation, to mask how they're trying to control, to mask how they're trying to exploit other people. This becomes a very, very manipulative and toxic blend of spirituality and narcissism that creates this confusing, this harmful dynamic for people that encounter them. Like when you're in a relationship with a Christian abuser, with a Christian narcissist, you're with someone who actively participates in those things that makes them look good. So like you might have a spouse where he actively participates in church activities, presents himself as a devout Christian, but behind the scenes, he's completely different. Maybe you grew up in this type of a household. You grew up in this type of household where the household was very abusive behind closed doors, but to the public, great Christian family. Look great. Another version of the mask that has been built with society and how Christianity and families have been transitioned and shown differently over the past couple of years. Behind the scenes, this is the part where a lot of Christianity and religion falls apart because a lot of it in practicality ends up being fake in that person's life. Like a lot of Christians would not get on to social media like this and say, hey, this is who I am. My name is Ben Taylor. I'm a narcissist. I've cheated on my wife 5 times. I'm here to be able to tell you about narcissistic abuse, how to break free, and what actually is going on, and all the shit that's underneath. You don't really find that. Because when you bring the truth into a lot of Christian circles, people run from it. Because what's actually behind the scenes is not Christianity. It's abuse and it's manipulation. Did you have this in your relationship? If so, leave a comment down below so other people know they're not alone. Did you have where the person in your life where he would present himself looking great? He might have been a deacon in the church. He might have been showing up in service in a certain way in the church, in the place that you go to worship, all these different things to look good. But behind the scenes, he's emotionally abusive. He's consistently belittling you. He's putting you down. He's gaslighting you. He's controlling you, using faith as a means to justify his actions. Using religion, religious texts to say, oh, this is why you need to obey me. We see this where narcissists will exploit religious authority, using it to control you, using it to get control over you, over other people, over, let's say, from a church perspective, over other followers of the congregation, using this to have and to maintain power and control. You might see it in the relationship where he's presented himself as being the spiritual leader. Like, he's got the best insight, he's got the best prayers, he's got the best look and idea and thought process. He knows a lot of the scriptures, all these different things. And what he wants is your loyalty no matter what. The wild part is a narcissist wants your loyalty while he's cheating on you, and then is offended when you actually leave, because that's not Christian. That's not spiritual. That's not the right look that he needs to have in his life. And so a lot of times he'll demand this loyalty, this admiration, regardless of what he's putting you through, just to be able to get what he wants. Think of it this way. You might have been in a church or in a place of worship where the pastor or the leader uses their position of authority to manipulate the congregation, to manipulate them to give this blind obedience to teachings, to decisions, while exploiting the vulnerability of other people for his own personal gain. This is the same thing that you'll see in a toxic relationship. A narcissist that will exploit you to be able to get what he wants out of the relationship. Like, whatever he has to do to be able to maintain control and to get what he wants out of the relationship. This is where it gets really real when we talk about it from a Christian's perspective, because what people don't want to talk about in the church then is coercion. Yeah. Topic that people want to talk about. Marital rape. Another tough one that people don't want to talk about, because they don't want to own up to the fact that, oh, I forced you to do this because I told you I was the spiritual leader and you're supposed to submit. That's a bunch of bullshit. A lot of times you'll find people that use and manipulate scripture to appear superior to another person, to extract value out of them without caring about the other person at all. A lot of times you will see a narcissist that will do whatever it takes to get you subservient to them and to get you doing what they want you to do. Doesn't matter. They'll use religion, they'll use Christianity, they'll use skewed Bible texts from pulling it from different places, twisting the scripture to actually get what they want so that they look good and they get what they want, and you have to submit. Sometimes you're going to see this aspect with the grandiosity and superiority that these Christian narcissists exhibit towards other people and towards you, believing that they have special and exclusive connection. Like, they might view themselves as being spiritually superior to other people and use this belief to assert dominance, to assert entitlement, control over another person. Like, this specialness, connects them to God or connects them to a higher power, saying, oh, this is what I have to be able to gain your admiration, to be able to gain control over you. And also to dismiss your perspective, your idea, your thought process, because you're spiritually inferior. Now, I've been skirting around a piece of this topic about a Christian narcissist, and that's, if you've seen some of my videos before, you also know that I don't think this truly exists. Especially when you talk about it in the negative light of a Christian abuser, which is what we've been listing and talking through this entire time. Because there's people out there that think, oh, well, he says he's a Christian, but he's also abusing me. I don't think those two things can coexist. You're like, well, that seems a little harsh because you're judging that person's spirituality. No, I'm judging that person's fruit. If you're like, well, you can't judge a person, then you need to read the Bible and figure it out, because it's not true. By their works, by their fruit, you shall know them. So if we want to work on scripture, let's go back and forth. When we talk through this aspect of Christianity and religion, if the person is not demonstrating a changed lifestyle, if they're not demonstrating growth in their life, if they're not demonstrating how they're actually moving forward in loving you, they're not showing any fruit of being a Christian. They're not. You might be thinking, well, you can't judge this person. You can't decide if they're a Christian or not. I can say by what the evidence is there, whether they are or not. Now, if they actually are or not, that's up to God to decide. But it's up to you to make a choice about how you're going to show up in the relationship or how you're going to leave the relationship based on the toxicity that is getting thrown at you. If you want, we can talk about Christianity and divorce in the Bible and all that kind of stuff in another video. I'm not going to dive into that rabbit hole. But understanding that a person is going to use and utilize Christianity and religion to abuse you, to manipulate you, and a Christian abuser does not exist. It's just an abuser. Because you cannot have someone that is said and that is claimed to be impacted by the God of the universe and not walk away changed. That person is just a liar. And that's what we see a lot of times, liars that hide behind Christianity. If this video resonated with you at all, please leave a comment, like, share, rate, review, send it to someone else, because we want to spread the news about narcissism and how it infiltrates into all aspects of your life. If you're at the place where you found this video helpful, then you might want to watch some of the videos on your screen to be able to help you in your healing journey and to move forward. You have a blessed day.